morning, guys. This is exit ticket number 17. This is from last Thursday. So I wanted to go over it with you before we started. So in looking at this problem, we are dividing we have 5 divided into 4 groups, sorry. So we're going to cut our box into 4s. We're going to draw 5 dots. And we're going to fair share. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's 1 that I can't share. Whatever's in one group, I'm going to put on top. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract, you get 1. Whatever's on top of that house right there, that is your quotient, 1. Whatever's left over, 1 is less than 4, so that's a remainder. I'm going to check my work. 4 times 1 equals 4, plus the remainder of 1 equals 5, which is the same as my dividend at the beginning. So if you got that, give yourself a big old check. Hopefully you put that into your assessments. If you haven't done the assessments for problem set or exit ticket 17, you should probably do that now. All right, I'm going to look at the next one, number 2. Remember, you can always pause the video or rewind if you need to go back and fix something. All right, so here we are at number 2. This time we have 56 divided by 4. So we're going to cut our boxes into 4s. We're going to draw how many 10s we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many 1s we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We're going to we're going to fair share our 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1 10 left over. Remember, the remainder has to be smaller than what I'm dividing by, the divisor of 4. 10 is still bigger than 4, so I need to regroup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to fair share those. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have 1 10 in a group. So I'm going to put 10 on top. 4 times 10 is 40. Division is repeated subtraction, so I'm going to subtract. I get 16. I have 4 in one group. I put my 4 on top. 4 times 4 is 16. I subtract. I get 0 as my remainder. Whatever's on top, 10 and 4 make 14. That is my quotient. Quotient is 14. Remainder is 0. Check my work. I don't know my 14 times table, so I'm going to break this problem up into 10 times 4 plus 4 times 4. Now you could check yours however you want. Like I said, pick numbers you know. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 4 is 16. Add those up, you get 56, which is the same as my dividend that I started with. Check your work. All right, we're going to move on. Good morning, guys. This is exit ticket number 17. This is from last Thursday. So I wanted to go over it with you before we started. So in looking at this problem, we are dividing we have 5 divided into 4 groups, sorry. So we're going to cut our box into 4s. We're going to draw 5 dots, and we're going to fair share. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's one that I can't share. Whatever's in one group, I'm going to put on top. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract, you get 1. Whatever's on top of that house right there, that is your quotient, 1. Whatever's left over, 1 is less than 4, so that's a remainder. I'm going to check my work. 4 times 1 equals 4, plus the remainder of 1 equals 5, which is the same as my dividend at the beginning. So if you got that, give yourself a big old check. Hopefully you put that into your assessments. If you haven't done the assessments for problem set or exit ticket 17, you should probably do that now. All right, I'm going to look at the next one, number 2. Remember, you can always pause the video or rewind if you need to go back and fix something. All right, so here we are at number 2. This time we have 56 divided by 4. So we're going to cut our boxes into fourths. We're going to draw how many 10s we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many 1s we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We're going to put in, we're going to fair share our 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1 10 left over. Remember, the remainder has to be smaller than what I'm dividing by, the divisor of 4. 10 is still bigger than 4, so I need to regroup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to fair share those. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have 1 10 in a group. So I'm going to put 10 on top. 4 times 10 is 40. Division is repeated subtraction, so I'm going to subtract. I get 16. I have 4 in one group. I put my 4 on top. 4 times 4 is 16. I subtract. I get 0 as my remainder. Whatever's on top, 10 and 4 make 14. That is my quotient. Quotient is 14. Remainder is 0. Check my work. I don't know my 14 times table, so I'm going to break this problem up into 10 times 4 plus 4 times 4. Now you could check yours however you want. Like I said, pick numbers you know. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 4 is 16. Add those up, you get 56, which is the same as my dividend that I started with. Check your work. All right, we're going to move on. So we're ready for today's application problem. So we've got Mia has 67 beads. She uses some, notice they don't tell us how many, some to make bracelets. If she uses 8 beads for each bracelet, how many beads will she have left over? Okay, so this is dealing with trying to find the remainder. Okay, so we have 67 beads. That's what she has total in her like little bead bucket, bead drawer. you know, those little bedazzled things girls have. It looks like a tackle box. We're going to divide that by 8 per bracelet. Okay? So the first part of this is we got to figure out how many complete bracelets can she make. But remember, it doesn't want to know how many bracelets she can make. It wants to know what's left over. It wants to deal with the remainder. Okay, so we've got 67. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones. And we're dividing it by groups of 8. So this can be a little tricky to draw. All right, so we're going to cut it in half, cut in half again. Now we're in fourths, and then we're going to cut it in half one more time. There should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You might have to draw this really big on your paper. Okay, so then we have 8. Draw our house of 67. Okay, we have a spot checker work. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video and then work it out and then check your work. No cheat, okay? Don't just let me play through or whatever. Pause. All right, so I think we're ready. We've got 67 divided by 8. So we're gonna divide 67. So the problem I run into already is there's only 6 and there's 8 holes. So I can't divide that up evenly. All right, so if I have to turn these into ones. There's 67 ones. So in this case, I'm going to think of a fact that is close as I get, because drawing 67 dots is a lot. I know my 5s. So I know that I can subtract 45 from this, because if I multiply, there's going to be 5 in each one. Okay, it's going to be 5 in each one, because 8 times 5 is 40. It's not bigger than 67. Okay, so that fact works for me. I subtract 6 minus 4 is 2, so I get 27. Once again, this right here is still bigger than my divisor, so I got to keep going. It's not a remainder of 27. Okay, another fact I know is 2. So I can put 2 in each one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract. I get 11. We're getting smaller, but this is still bigger than 8, so I got to keep going. 8 times 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Subtract. Got to put 1 in each group. Okay. 11 minus 8 would be 3. Right there, that fact is smaller than 8. So the complete bracelets are right here. Her quotient is 7 plus 2 plus 1 is 8. She made a total of 8 bracelets. But it doesn't care about that. It cares about how much is left over. How many beads are left over? She has, how many beads are left over? 3 beads left over. We got to check our work. Okay, so we're going to plug in what we have, the quotient. The quotient is 8 times, we have 5 times 8. If you don't know your facts, you should have your multiplication chart out. 8 times 8 is 64. plus the remainder of 3 gives me 67, which is what I started with. So I know I'm right. All right, guys, moving into the problem sets. All right, so we're on problem set 18. So problem set 18, you're trying to get away from the whole drawing the dots now. So we're going to be moving into what I call partial quotients. Partial quotients are pieces. So you're definitely going to want a multiplication chart if you're not comfortable with your facts. But I'm going to show you some ways that you can get around that. So let's look at question number 1. We've got 46 here. So we're going to set up our problem. 46. The biggest thing about these style problems is running out of space. Okay, 46, and we're dividing by 2. Have no idea what just happened to my voice there, but 46 divided by 2. We're trying to get as close to 46 as we can. So I don't know my times tables up that high, especially even with 2, but I do know that this is an even number, 46. If the number's even, that means it's composite. The only even composite prime number is 2. So what that means in fancy math talk is that I can divide 46 evenly by 2. I won't have a remainder because it's even. All even numbers have a factor of 2. Okay, so I know that 2 can go into 40. That would be 20 times. 2 times 20 would equal 40. That's really close. Okay, you're trying to get as close to that number as possible. Let's say you don't know numbers that high, like 20 is kind of scary for you. You can do other numbers like 10. So what I like to do is make a list out here of facts that I know very easily. So facts that I know very easily are 10s, or you could even start with 100, 10, 20s, 50s, 5, 2, 1s. So these are facts I know very easily in my head. And then I try them out. So 2 times 100 would equal 200. That's too big. So that doesn't work. 2 times 10 equals 20. That does work because it's less, but I feel like I could go further. So I'm not going to cross it out because I haven't used it yet. But I tried 2 times 20. That equaled 40. That's perfect. When I subtract, I get 6. Well, hopefully, you know it's not on my list, but 2 times 3. 2, 4, 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. And I subtract. I have 0. The answer is right here. This is the quotient. I have no remainder. The answer is 23. Okay? So when we're looking at 96, same thing. 96 divided by 3. We're going to list out facts that we know. Okay? I know my 20s. I know my 10s. I know my 11s. I can do 5. I can do 2s and 1s. You might know more facts. Just because I put that in that box doesn't mean you have to. Okay? So looking at this, I'm going to try 20 first because it's the biggest one I have in my box. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video right here and try it out for yourself. It's new. It's going to be harder, but try. Okay? If you need to fall back on doing the boxes with the dots, please do that. That's totally fine. Just know when you get to bigger numbers, it's going to be a little more difficult. So you might want to try without it. Okay? All right. All right, pause that video. All right, here we go again. So 3, I'm going to put my 20 up here. 3 times 20 equals 60. And I subtract. I get 36. I've used up my 20. I can't do another 20, so I can cross it out. 3 times 10 is my next one. Or I could do 3 times 11. Okay, anything times 11 is just that number. Okay, so 3 times 11, let me put 11 up here. 3 times 11 is 33. That's really close. There's 3 left over. Now, before you get excited and say, okay, I'm done, 3 can still go into 3. It is not smaller than the divisor, so I got to keep going. That's where a lot of kids mess up. They think they have a remainder. They've got to keep going. So I'm going to do 1. 3 times 1 equals 3. Then I have 0 as my remainder. Your answer, your partial quotients might be different because you might have done 10 and then you had to do 2 or something like that. But as long as you get the same quotient, you're doing fine. So we have 20 plus 11 plus 1. 20 plus 11 plus 1. We get 2, 3. 32 is my answer with a remainder of 0. All right. I want you to try 3 and 4 on your own, okay? Like I said, if you need to draw boxes, then that's totally fine. Go ahead and do that, all right? All right, howdy everybody. Let's look at 5 and 6, okay? So you should have done 3 and 4 on your own. Let's look at 5 and 6. So we've got 53 divided by 3. One little trick, pro tip, if this is not enough space, you can flip your paper and work it that way. That gives you a little more room. I can't do that because I'm on the computer, but you can do that on your paper. So I'm going to list out facts that I know for 3s. I'm trying to get as close to 50 as I can. I know 20. I know 10. I know 11. I can do 5s, I can do 2s and 1s, but you could have other ones. Maybe you know your 9s or your 12s or whatever. Maybe you know all your facts and you don't even need the list, but in any case. So I'm gonna try 3 times 20. 3 times 20 would be 60. I can't do that because it's bigger than what I'm dividing by, so 20 doesn't work. I'm gonna try 11. 3 times 11 is 33. That's close. I'm going to put 11 here. 33. Subtract. I get 20. Okay, so I'm doing pretty good. I got to continue going. I'm not finished yet. So I can't do another 11. 3 times 10 is 30. It's too big. Can't do that. I can do 3 times 5. Put my 5 up top. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract. I get 5. Now, before you say it is 16 with a remainder of 5, remember, your remainder cannot be bigger than my divisor. I have to keep going. Can't do 5. 3 times 2 is 6. That's too big. 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3. I have a remainder of 2. That is smaller than my divisor, so my answer is right here. 11 plus 5 plus 1. 11 and 5 make 16 plus 1 is 17. 17 are 2. All right, I'm going to set this one up for you, but I want you to try this one on your own. So you're going to pause the video and then we'll go over it. So we've got 95 divided by 4. Now, if you have really messy handwriting, if you're struggling to get it in this box, do it on a piece of paper before, because you don't want to get it mixed up. That's the biggest thing. So we're trying to get as close to 95 as we can. So I can start with 20, 10, 11. I could do 5s, 2s, and 1s. Okay. So pause the video and then we'll go over this. I want you to try this one on your own. All right, welcome back. So at this point, we're looking at 4 times 20. Let's start with a big one. 4 times 20 would be 80, which is smaller than 95. It's really close, so that works. I'm going to subtract. 5 15. So I've already knocked my dividend all the way down to 15. Can't do another 20, it's done. Try 4 times 10. 4 times 10 is 40, too big. If 10's too big, then 11's too big. So I gotta try 5. 4 times 5 is 20. That's also not gonna work. So I'm left with 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, I subtract. I have to regroup, that would be 15. 15 minus 8 would be 7. 7 is not a remainder because it is bigger than my divisor. So I gotta keep going. Can't do 2 again. I can do 1. 4 times 1 was 4. Subtract, I get 3. 3 is smaller than my divisor. That is a remainder. So my answer is right here, 20 plus 2 plus 1. You should have gotten 23 with a remainder of 3. All right. We're going to move on to the next ones. All right, so I want you to do 7 and 8. I'm going to do 9 and 10, and then I'll help you set up 11. But you're going to have to do 12. So 7, 8, 12 are all on you. You're going to have to figure those out. So we're going to look at this one, 60 divided by 3. Okay, this one is 60 divided by 4. And then this one is 95 divided by 8. Okay, so you can go ahead and set those up. Remember, give yourself enough space to work. If you need to turn your paper and do it this way, that'll give you some more work. I can't do that, unfortunately. So I'm gonna come up with facts I know. 20s, I know 10s, then 11s, and 5s, and 2, and 1. Same thing over here, 20, 10, 5s, 2s, and 1s. All right, let's start with the biggest number. 3 times 20. 3 times 20 equals 60. 60 minus 60 is 0. I've already found my answer. So when you get a use a number that is as close as you can get it, a friendly fact that you can get as close to that number, it helps you with not having to write a whole lot. So 3 times 20, so my quotient is 20, and there's nothing left over. That one was easy. So looking at this one, 60. Okay. If you start with 20, 4 times 20 equals 80. It's too big. Doesn't work. I could do 4 times 11 if I wanted to. I didn't have that in my list. Okay, or if you want to keep it well-rounded, you could do 10s. So it's up to you. You get to pick. You just need to follow the steps in the process. So 4 times 10. Let's do 10. 4 times 10 is 40. Subtract. I get 20. You cannot have 10 remainder of 20. 20 is bigger than my divisor. I got to keep going. So 4 times, not 10, not 11, try 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract. Nothing left over. My answer is right there, 15. 15, remainder of 0. You don't have to put remainder of 0. 0 is nothing, but you know, it just helps me to remember to always write my remainder. All right, looking at problem number 11. You're going to set this one up. So pick friendly facts that you know. I know my 10s, I know 11s, I know 5s and 2s and 1s. All right, if you did 8 times 11, you would get 88, which is less than 95, and that would get you really close. So I'd recommend that one, but if you want to do 10s to keep it nice and round, you can do that too. All right, I want you to pause the video and work this one out, and we'll go over it. All right, welcome back. For you, it's been like a minute or two. For me, it was like a second. So I'm going to do 11 just to show you. But if you did 10, that's fine. You just had to do one more step. So I'm going to do 11. 8 times 11 is 88. We subtract. This becomes 8. This becomes 15. Okay, that would be 7. 8 can't go into 7 without becoming a decimal, and it's less than my divisor. So this tricks kids sometimes when they get a really big remainder. They think, oh, remainders can only be 1 or 2 or 3 or something small. If the number is smaller than your divisor, then that's a remainder. So 7 is smaller than 8, so that's my remainder. My answer is 11. My board just conked out on me right now all time. So my answer would be 11 with a remainder of 7. All right, so we're setting this one up. 7 into 95. Give yourself enough space to work. So if you need to turn your paper or do it on another sheet of paper, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna stop the video here. I'll go into the exit ticket and I will read the questions for you, but you need to work out the problems. All right, so you had to do 7, 8, and 12 on your own. Put those into your assessments and we'll move on to the exit ticket. All right, remember, this is exit ticket 18. Remember, this is your paper and you can use it for however you want. I don't know how yours is set up, but mine just gives a bunch of white space. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this easier for me to work out a problem. I'm gonna set up 7 divided by 93. Or sorry, 93 divided by 7. I always say it backwards. So then we have 8, and we're dividing up 99 into 8 groups. Okay, so here we're going to be going over this tomorrow. So you need to make sure that you work these out to the best of your ability. Put your answers into assessments, and good luck, guys. You got this.